So here I have two very inspiring founders, very unique perspectives, some commonalities, building something unique in their industries, in their processes. So now I'm going to try a few questions which we can just have both of you answer, and let's see how that goes, right? Um, Both of you are founders. One person is already on the road right now. Second person is probably planning to go on the road. What's the best part of living a founder's life today in the year 2024?
Riya, do you want to go first, please?
Sure. For me personally, I'm not on planes all the time yet, but that is the state of the union today, which is great. But the best part of being a founder for me has been the ability to move quickly, the ability to make decisions, the ability to pivot, the ability to, whether you succeed or whether you don't really succeed and you're seeing a setback, it's the responsibility is yours and your very small teams. So the accountability and ownership that comes with something like that is very empowering, but at the same time, I think that's the best part of it. Like you can be in big companies asking to say, I can't really run with this project because there are 7 different levels of approvals needed. Yeah, you don't have those excuses. Why have you not executed, right?
And is that best part only limited to you, or do you allow your team members to have that ability as well?
No, we are a very small team and early stage startups. I think everyone has to feel that ownership and accountability, and there is no penalty to fail, but there is penalty to not trying. Right? It's okay to try, but at least you know that there is one way we tried and that didn't work. So failing is okay, not trying is not okay. So that level of ownership and accountability comes with all of us, not just for me.
Very good. Aman, how about you?
I think I second everything that Riya said. The biggest thing for me personally, being an entrepreneur, is to not have any limits on what I can do. I am my own limit. So now I can keep pushing, 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 pushing till uh, I cannot go any further. I haven't yet hit that limit yet, so I'm just pushing, pushing still. The second big thing personally for me, Ajay, is actually being a multiplier. So one of the criteria when we are hiring for further AI is that, do you want to start a company in the next 3 years? If yes, this will be a great place for you to join right now, get that exposure, get that experience, because you're going to be working your ass off and building something unique from scratch, taking the ownership. So that attracts the right people. And out of my first company, there are, I think, 2 more companies that got created. And I'm hoping that at Further AI, many more companies, like the people who join us, will create more companies. That would give me a lot of satisfaction down the line. And I'm hoping that I would have enough money to be the first angel in a lot of companies that come out of Further AI as well.
Great. And now I understand the true definition of why you picked the name Further, because it's not just further at one point, but in personal, professional, network life, a lot of things. So let's turn the tables, right, on that question. What is a not so good part of living a founder's life right now in 2024? Aman, you start this time.
Interestingly, that's a good question. I don't know what would I be doing if I'm not building a company. So, but I do feel that there are certain challenges that happens in our founder's life. Like our day started this morning with an enterprise client signing the contract. We got that message. He dropped me a text saying that, hey, we are good. I've signed the contract and so on. And then in the afternoon, then another customer said that, hey, I'm having trouble with getting sponsorship for it. It was a near done deal. And they backed out. So yeah, I think, like Riya said, it's not for the faint hearts. And if you can control your emotions during the day and not get too excited about a success and not get too discouraged by a failure, I think that it will make a great entrepreneur. I'm still learning on that front.
Great point. How about you, Riya? What's a not so good part of living a founder's life today?
So I think you are the CEO, you are the chief sales officer, you are the marketing lead, you're also the janitor, you're also the person that takes care of all things legal. You're wearing multiple hats. And sometimes when you're focused squarely on one thing, the others may not get enough attention. But that's sort of the process, right? Like you're wearing multiple hats, and as a result, you can only give so much energy to one specific area at any given time. And the buck stops with you. There's no one to look up to say, uh, you've got my back, right? Because no one's got your back. The buck stops with you. And that's a difficult part, but that's also the gratifying part of being a founder, because you get to wear all those hats and you get to experiment how you bring the first customer on board, how you handle the first support escalation. It's gratifying, but it's not easy. It's so bloody hard.
No, very well said. I mean, one thing that I'm noticing from both of you is this extreme level of candor, which is great, by the way. It keeps the conversation authentic. Ria, what you just said reminds me of Nikesh Arora. He always says to his team that bring the best version of yourself when you come every morning. And, when you apply that to yourself as a founder, as a leader of the organization, it's kind of difficult, right? In many days, you may not have the best day for whatever reason
Yeah.
but that's great way. Okay, let's try something different now. So Aman and Ria, I'm going to invite you both to become the moderators for each other and ask yourself your other person one question that you want to ask. Anything.
I have a lot of questions for Ria, so I can go
All
first
right,
here.
go for it.
So Ria, really enjoyed how you covered your journey and the focus on empathy. One question that I am trying to refine my thinking on is how do you pick the right people? What is that you look for in people that are joining Hawks beyond the hard skills? And how do you measure it? Any playbook that you have developed?
Um, See, I think hiring is an art, but hiring for startups is a whole different ballgame, right? Because you're strapped for resources, speed and agility is really important, grit is really important, and so on. The thing that's really worked for me is to be really upfront with folks that we are bringing on board, to acknowledging that this is not going to be easy. This is going to be a wild ride. We've got to buckle up, and this is going to get crazy. And that's the reality of it, because when a customer is implementing, and if something is not going well and they're getting ready to go production, you're going to have to call your engineers to be on call no matter what the time is, because I don't have a support team to call on, or I don't have an SRE team to call on. So those things are not normal when you hire for big companies, but for small companies. So as a result, one is just being upfront with them to say how hard and difficult a startup life is compared to a big company journey. But the other is also their belief in what you're building. And as a result, for them to have the conviction that this is going to change the world, or this is going to change the area that you're focused on building, and believe in what you're building. And if they are not passionate about what you're building, and if this is just another job for them, that hasn't really worked for us. And they have to believe in the promise of the future, and they want to be part of the ground floor building this with you. And when you look back and when you're able to make some sort of a history with what you're building, they get to have that pride badge of honor that they were part of the ground floor building this with you. And you've got to have the people that has the DNA to want to do that. Otherwise they can't do it for too long. And also, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. You've got to sustain this for a long time before you can be calling yourselves somewhat successful. Success is obviously very subjective, but it's not an overnight dream that'll come true. So you have to sustain the test of time.
Super cool. Very, very helpful.
Yeah, thank you. So first of all, I mean, I want to be friends with you, and I want to be as cool as you when I grow up, although I'm pretty sure I'm older than you. Um, but as a founder, as a two-time founder, um, if there was one decision that you've made now in your current company or in your previous company that you've successfully exited, if there was one decision that you made that you think made the biggest impact in the trajectory of the company, what would that decision be?
I think at different stages of the company, there are different big decisions, which were the inflection points in the early days, I think the biggest decision was actually to have Sashank as my co-founder and finding the right co-founder for that matter, who complements each other, who have the right set of skills in many different ways. I think the art and science of it. At in the mid stage, it was about picking an industry as unsexy as insurance and going head on with it, showing up in a room where you are the least known person, as well as the person who knows the least about insurance, and then still having the smile on your face and raising hand that, okay, what does that mean? Being confident in our own skin. I think these are the two decisions at very early stage of the company and the mid stage of the company that I think really helped. Now the decision that we are taking is to be very narrowly focused, optimizing on the pricing, and then doubling down. And then the next decision would be like sort of growing the team. That's a question from my side that I was asking you. So these are the few things that have happened in the course of the company that I think I did differently than what I did in the first time.
Very nice. Thank you. Yeah, I think choosing the right co-founder is everything, or co-founders is everything, and that can make or break the company, right?
Very cool. Well, so that was a great rapid fire between the two speakers themselves. Let's just do, in the interest of time, um, a closing question. We heard a lot about you today. Now it's your time to tell the listeners now or later who will be listening to this, the recorded version and the video version of it. What message do you want to give? Number one, to the founders, entrepreneurs listening to you right now. It could be anything, advice, question, anything. And secondly, what's your ask as of today? Either it's yours, your company's that the listeners can help you with, TIE can help you with, the broader network can help you with.
I can share a few things that I've learned and continuing to learn, but some of the early learnings as a first-time founder. The thing that I'm starting to learn, and it makes a lot of sense, is it is about the journey. As cliche as it might sound, it is about the journey. It's not about the destination. Um, and I think even in jobs that I've had in big companies, when you do something with your 100%, giving your all in, and coming in with the mindset that I've got nothing to lose, but I'm giving in my 100%, and the rest is, up to the outcomes, because there are lots of other factors that come into play. That mindset is helpful, especially when you're grinding and hustling every single day, 24/7. And building a company is just such a roller coaster ride. The highs are really high, the lows are really low, but you're going to see all of them every single day. Just like Aman's day today, you woke up to an enterprise customer ready to go, and midday a customer pulled back, and those are all. I mean, and that's how the days are going to be. And the thing that I also keep hearing from many prior founders is, I should have pivoted sooner. And if you feel the need to pivot, it's not going to bruise your ego. You just have to look at what the market tells you, look at what your customers are telling you, and you just have to pivot. And that's just the nature of being in a startup. And you're not going to get it right the first time, not going to get it right the second or the third. You're going to have multiple pivots in this journey as you land what that long-term path looks like. But this is all not going to be easy without a community. You have to build a community for yourself, whether that is the TIE network and the group of founders that are building together, hustling together, whether that is a group of mentors, advisors, whatever association you feel safe and comfortable with, to, at the end of the day, call and say, I've had a shitty day and here is why, and just talk through it. Sometimes you just want someone to listen to, sometimes you want someone to give you solutions. But in either case, you need a community that you can rely on, that will support you. Otherwise, this journey is going to be so bloody hard. And I'm fortunate to have found TIE Silicon Valley. And in that, I have found a lot of founders that I am connected to, and also founders outside of TIE. And that's been really helpful. And then staying true to your vision. You started this. There was a reason why you started it. You had a vision. and just staying true to the vision and keeping the end goal or keeping the goalpost in mind as you navigate through all these difficult circumstances. That's sort of what I had to share.
Well done. Well done. And thanks for sharing all of that, Riya. Aman?
Start early at the soonest possible. Take the risk. I think overthinking hasn't led anybody anywhere. So I try personally to be dumb 4 days a week and then smart 1 day a week. When I'm being dumb, I just execute without overthinking about it. So I think that has been serving us well. I would say that's the way to go. In terms of ask, if you want to join an early stage startup across tech or sales roles, we are hiring. Would love to have somebody who wants sort of really push their own potential, and hopefully further AI becomes a launchpad of their success too. So that's the ask from my side.
Awesome. Very well said. At this point, there are a couple of questions. In the interest of time, I'm going to only take one or two at the max because we'll be topping the hour very soon. So the first question, what is your long-term goal with your companies?
I can go. We are building an identity company specifically in passwordless. It's a massive market. Everybody that uses the internet uses a password to get into digital services. There are 8 billion people in the world. 6.1 billion people use the internet. On average, about 100 or 120 passwords exist per individual. So we've got 800 billion passwords to replace. So we've got a lot of work cut out for us over the next several years. And that's what we hope to do.
On my side, I think, do you remember the 2010 Iron Man movie, Ajay?
I do.
And do you remember Tony Stark having these multiple suits that would follow his commands? For me, it's as simple as that. I don't have that one-liner like of strife, like increasing the world's GDP or we work elevating world's consciousness. But for me, it's basically creating a lot of interesting AI agents for the problems that people are solving and doing it for industries that are lagging behind in tech, like insurance, like energy, and so on, because that would make a significant impact on a day-to-day lives of each of us. We all complain about insurance being slow or why we still have to fill forms, why does it take so much time? So I'm happy that I'm getting the opportunity to be on the other side and fixing it from inside. So that sort of is where my passion lies, and that's what we have been doing.
Very well said. Okay, such a pleasure having you both on this series. In the interest of time, I'm going to close off now at 6 o'clock Pacific time here. Again, thank you to everybody who listened to us, who will be listening to this session, TIE Silicon Valley's 40 Under 40 program, spotlighting two inspiring founders, Aman Gour from Further AI and Riya Shanmugam from Hawcx. If you ever want to reach out to them directly on LinkedIn. Look at their websites, their companies, Further AI and Hawcx. They're building some really cool things. Don't miss the opportunity to join them. As you heard them, they are phenomenal leaders and more importantly, great human beings just to be surrounded with. I have personally noticed that with a little bit of time that I have spent with both of them. And obviously, if you're an investor, find them before they become too expensive for all of you. And there are a lot of learnings which we will share. Many come to my mind. Don't always be learning, but always be selling, and many more. So thank you everyone for joining. We will be back with our next episode of the TIE Silicon Valley's 40 Under 40 series. Until then, Ajay Manglani from TIE Silicon Valley saying goodbye. Thank you both again for joining.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much for
having us,
having us,
Ajay.
Ajay.